the reason I'm starting to have issues with people just counting out Alabama in this game is one, they have Nick Saban, the best coach in college football history. Two, despite the issues, their run defense is pretty good. Or actually, take that back. Their run defense is really good. And Stetson Bennett is going to have to make some throws. Now, he can. He's shown this year that he's been able to, especially when games have been close-ish. Against Tennessee, it was close until the end of the first half when Stetson made some really good throws. Yeah, Jeff, 4-1 is an underdog. It is never wise to count out the Alabama Crimson Tide because they have such talent everywhere. And all that talent needs to do is come together for 60 minutes to beat Georgia. Now, if you're Georgia, you can look at, and what would worry me as a Georgia fan is how do I want to phrase this? The thing that would worry me at Georgia is if this game gets into the second half and it's the Alabama defense is keeping the team in the game and it's 14-10, 17-14, because I don't think this is going to be – if this is a shootout, my post-game Saturday, I'm just going to sit here and not know what to say and just apologize because I don't think that's happening. But if it's 17-14, 2014, something close, one possession, as we get into the third quarter, start rolling into the fourth, how does that offense react? How does that defense react? Because they haven't been in a close game all year. I made another banner with just some similar scores between the two teams. I mean, Florida, Alabama, 2-point win. Georgia knocked them off by 27, and the dam broke in that game late in the second half. Tennessee, Alabama beat by 28, Georgia by 24. That game was out of hand early. Alabama beat Arkansas by a touchdown. Georgia beat Arkansas by 37. Alabama escaped Auburn in 4 overtimes. Georgia beat Auburn, no real issues. So if that game gets close late, how does Georgia react? We'll see. And I think it will be close. I think there's too much talent on the Alabama defense, especially Will Anderson. That guy should be up for the Heisman. That this game's going to get out of hand. Let's see what the comments are saying real quick. All righty. So what happens then? If Georgia can't pull away, if they can't get up by 2 times, somebody said 20-10. If they're up like 20-7, 20 to, whatever, I don't think that's an issue. But if it's 20-14, even 20-13, how does that offense react? What happens if they fall behind? What if, and I'm throwing out hypotheticals here, and so not these necessarily aren't going to happen. What if first possession, Jameson Williams gets behind the defense, scores a touchdown, 7-0. They come out. Stetson throws an ugly pick, Will Anderson forces a fumble. All of a sudden, it's 14-0. What do you do? Is Stetson Bennett going to be able to throw them back into the game? And on the flip side for Alabama, you would think you have to know, especially with Bill O'Brien's offense this year, which has been this isn't the offense it was last year. Bill O'Brien is not as good of an offensive coordinator as Steve Sarkisian. If Bill O'Brien took any of the jobs he was rumored for, I'd assume Alabama fans would help him to the airport. A lot of the offense this year is just Bryce Young making a play. To Jameson or John Mechie. So on the other side, can Alabama maybe get a cheap score? Can Jameson Williams get behind somebody and Bryce Young hit him before he gets destroyed by Nakobe Dean or something? Can they get a special teams touchdown? Can they get a defensive touchdown? Those things Alabama's known for that I haven't done this year. Can they do it? That's going to help them keep them in this game if the offense is struggling. Georgia and Alabama fans going at it in the chat. I love to see it. This is the biggest game this weekend. I know Georgia has looked like the only elite team in college football this year, but this is a huge game. It's number 1 versus number 3. You can't not be excited about that. And as far as defensive touchdowns, Georgia had 3 this year. I'll let you know when I find Bama on NCAA.com. I just have like a ton of tabs open right now just to make sure I have all the information I want. Bama had 1. Yeah, let's not curse. Come on now, folks. I'm not going to curse. What was it? 2016. I was in college when Alabama, like every game, was getting a special teams touchdown or a defensive touchdown. They need something like that. They might need something like that to keep them in this game. I'm sure it'll be. You guys are arguing about the atmosphere. I'm sure it'll be a great atmosphere in Atlanta. It always is. It's always a really fun atmosphere. It'll all be red. But I want to turn it to you guys a little bit. We hit maybe like I talked about a lot of what I want to talk about. What are the X factors to you guys in this game? Who is the X factors? For me, an X factor, again, would be George Pickens. He's been excellent in his career. He can be a real go-to threat when he's healthy. And if that's just something that Alabama may have to worry about. I wouldn't be shocked if early in the game they take a shot. They opening kickoff, Zamir White picks up 6, James Cook picks up 5, and then all of a sudden they take a deep shot on 1st and 10 or 2nd and 4 or whatever to pick and see what he's got, and maybe he makes a play. Which QB plays later is going to decide a lot. I don't know, because I think Bryce Young has to play. I mean, against this defense and this rush defense, Bryce Young is going to have to play a Heisman caliber game, and that might not show up in the stats. His stats, you might look at him and go, they might look kind of pedestrian, but no one's stats has looked that great against Georgia, except for the wide receiver from Tennessee who put up like 200 yards, Jones. But he's going to have to make some plays. He's going to have to convert some 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 8s, avoid a rush. And that's going to be tough with Jordan Davis pushing 2 offensive linemen into his face. But he's got Jamison Williams to make some throws. He's got Mechie. The tight ends are going to be huge in this game as safety valves. It's gonna more depend on Bill O'Brien's plan. That's what, because I don't think Stetson Bennett needs to play. That is true. That game happens. Feels like it was 2 years ago. I don't think Stetson Bennett needs to play an outstanding game for Georgia to win. I don't. I think Bryce Young will need to vastly outplay Stetson for Alabama to win this game. Now, the good news for Alabama is he can do just that. You don't get up for the Heisman and become a finalist if you aren't extremely good, which he is. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to that matchup, the Bryce Young versus that defense, and what Bill O'Brien can plan. If Steve Sarkisian was still the defensive coordinator, I'd feel a lot more confident if I was an Alabama fan about him being able to find works. Whereas Bill O'Brien, his game plans, and I said this earlier, seems to fall apart. And then a lot of the times it's just Bryce go make a play. It's kind of like Russell Wilson, not this year, but in past years where Russ, go make a play. Find Tyler Lockett or something. You guys keep bringing up the South Carolina game for Georgia. I can pull up the stats real quick. September 18th, otherwise known as a decade ago. Luke Doty, 13 and 26, 153 yards. Kevin Harris, 16 carries, 31 yards. Josh Vann, yes. It was Josh Vann. Jack, it was Josh Vann. Had a very good game. Yeah, I mean, Bill O'Brien was rumored for so many jobs. And like I said, I'm sure the good people of Tuscaloosa would help him to the airport. So give your thoughts, predictions, X factors. What do you think is going to happen? I'm here to talk to you guys.